you got to go into it with every ounce of energy you got, though, because you're going to get so much more out of it. And you'll know within a day or two of starting the program that you're going to get something out of it.
Today, we've got the awesome Mr. James Brighton on the call, on the interview. He's kind of taken 20 minutes out of his day to talk about his experience working with us here in the 1% Blueprint. By my accounts, James absolutely smashed it, but I want you to hear from him and he can tell you about it himself. Before we jump off and into that, James, can you just introduce yourself, who you are, what do you do?
Yeah, hi, name's James Brighton. I'm in the mid-40s of my life. I work for a professional services firm, which I have done for quite a while. I'm based in the south coast of England.
You decided to reach out and have a chat. What was going on back then? What was your motivation for having a chat with a coach, someone like me?
Yeah, sure. So I had a pretty tough winter health-wise. I picked up a pretty bad chest infection, and I really sort of health deteriorated. Someone who's always done a lot of stuff with fitness and enjoyed that side of life, but motivation and I guess my general performance was just at a really low ebb. I'd also had recognised that I was just everything was getting onto me. Everything was just too tough. I was getting overwhelmed by lots of situations, and it's just I wasn't the person I wanted to be anymore. I guess I generally didn't feel like I could be the person I thought I was, and I could operate well, and I just wanted to stop being that individual.
So that's where we were. Let's fast forward 10, 11 weeks, whatever it is, to today. I want to dig into, how you got to this state. But firstly, just like what have been your key achievements and successes having come through the process? Then we can dig into a little bit, how you got there.
Yeah, so I think a key achievement is everything just feels lighter, right? And it sounds a bit of a weird phrase to say and not really very descriptive, but everything just feels just generally lighter. So I wake up with a bit more spring in my step. And that I think has come about the fact that I'm just looking after myself more. So in terms of an achievement, I'm putting time into myself during the course of a 24-hour day that allows me to operate and behave better. I think the second thing is I generally feel relationships in my life are in a really good space, right? And that is a really big achievement for me. I feel like even when the inevitable happens, which is a point of difference or a challenge or an issue that comes up, I feel like my mentality and the balance I now feel I've got means I can conduct and relationships and conversation I can have in a good spot. I think that the final thing I think is that I feel like I'm smiling a lot more, and it's interesting. I took the photos before and after for a while ago, and there was it might have just been the camera angle and because it was a sunny day, but there was an actual sparkle in my eye, which I was just like I could feel like the happiness coming out, always just in that photo.
How have you achieved that? What have been the things that have enabled you to get to the point and state that you are in today?
The first thing that's come out of working with you, Luke, is I have a routine that I didn't have before. Good example is every morning without fail, I'll get up and do some form of exercise, and then I'll have a cold shower. The second thing is around what I'm eating. Now, this for me wasn't about going on a diet, and I've done various things in the past. Some have been really successful, some haven't. But just having a little bit of structure and guidance about eating stuff. So the simple thing for me is eating things where there's a lot of color on the plate, right? If there's a lot of color on the plate, in general, you're going to be eating healthily. The last thing for me, which has been brilliant, is just being prepared to engage in conversation at times of the day where it's really important. So
what would you say the program has influenced with your mindset, and what would you take by that? If someone says, it's helped me change my mindset, what would you mean if you're going to say that?
So I think it's a couple of things. So I think
quite a leading question there as well.
It's fine. So one of the great benefits of the program is you get to interact with lots of other people that are in a similar situation. Well, not always the similar situation, but have got various similar traits. So you get a chance to have weekly calls with the group of people. What I found incredible is that if you're sharing and you're listening and you're learning like the whole time, and your mindset changes so much more, and particularly when you're talking about things that are getting you down, or from a mental health perspective, and when you're sharing concepts and considerations or thoughts or worries that people have got, you're hearing them, that your mind just opens up so much more, because you're recognizing that not only, and everyone's always aware that it's happening somewhere to someone else, of course, but hearing it on a regular basis, sharing ideas with people, so having each other's backs is an incredible experience. And it's like, being in this evolving team for your own self development is quite a unique thing.
Before we get off, let's say someone's watching this, they may be feeling like you were feeling 10, 11 weeks back. They've toyed with the idea of coaching, maybe not done it before, they're kind of on the fence. What would you say to someone who's a bit reticent about a process, but kind of knows they want to do something? What would you say to someone like that?
I'll just say go for it, because you're only going to get one chance this life, right? So just go for it. You've got an ability to shape how you feel. And if you're feeling rubbish and you're feeling at the bottom, or you're struggling now, by the time you've gone through this program, you're not going to feel like that. It's a significant change process. You've got to go into it with every ounce of energy you've got, though, because you're going to get so much more out of it. And you'll know within a day or two of starting the program that you're going to get something out of it. But you turn up, you get on it, you do everything you're asked to do, the challenges you put in, and everyone around you will benefit from it. It's not even just you that will benefit from it. So go into it with everything you got, and you'll get loads out of it.
Well done, mate. And, it's been a pleasure working with you, so thank you. For anyone watching, if you're interested in having a chat, you like what James has said, you're interested in finding out a bit more, drop me a note in the comments or a DM, and we can arrange a conversation. On that note, James, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for your time, and everyone else, have a great week. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Luke. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Cheers.